No, actually, when you understand part of my research, I did an interview with a gentleman by the name of Dan Ariely, and also there's an interview on the podcast with Susan Weincheck. And one of the things that came out of that is a lot of what we do in society is based on this assumption that people will do as they're basically told. They'll apply logic. But actually, if you want to think about it, just use my head as almost, you can imagine it being a brain, okay? You can almost imagine the brain is split in half. It's not physically split in half, but right. There's one side, there's like a system one side of the brain and the system two. Now, one side of the brain, let's call it this one here, okay, will think things through. So it will look at the information it's received as part of its education and awareness program. It will hopefully remember some of it, and it will think about it. And that's the part of the brain where logic happens, okay? So if you think about, if you play chess, that's the bit of the brain you're going to be using, okay? Yep. When you're first learning to drive, and you remember when you were first learning to drive, you're like, oh, every
decision is incredible. Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah. You finish the driving lesson, you're absolutely shattered. Okay.
Yeah.
But so you're having to think. So when we find ourselves in some situations where like actually we're cognitively thinking, and that's the time when we're at our best of weighing up the pros and cons and thinking things really through.
Right.
The other side of the brain is, you can think of it as the automatic side. It's like your it's subconscious.
Yep.
And some people call it the lizard brain because it just clicks out and it does things automatically. Yep. Now, that side of the brain, okay, that side of the brain is used a lot more, okay, than most people would think.
Yeah.
So the thing is, that side of the brain, to think that quickly, is using a range of things that we developed through evolution. And these things are called biases and heuristics, okay? You can think of them as shortcuts. So instead of having to spend all the time cognitively thinking on this side about the problem, the situation, what you should be doing, trying to remember things, this side of the brain just makes really, really quick decisions, okay? Now, it does that in a range of circumstances, but one of them might be, for example, you're under pressure, okay? One of them might be you're in an environment that you're not really used to.
Yep.
One of them might be that you haven't actually got all your senses working efficiently at that particular time.
Yep.
Now, you think about a phishing attack. What is it that they do? The email is generally very urgent.
Yep.
Okay. You receive a lot of these emails at particular points in the week or times in the day.
Yeah. Off hours or strange times, or if you're working in the evening sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. If you know there's a public holiday on the Friday, and people on the Thursday are trying to close everything down as quickly as possible. Okay.
Wrap up all loose ends. Yeah.
Yeah, they lose their concentration. And what that is, they'll start making decisions with this automatic side of the brain.
Yep.
Now, the biases and heuristics in there, okay, are incredibly powerful tools that we've evolved over years. And they've helped us really, really well in many aspects. But when it comes to decision-making, often in the world that we live in now, and those decisions include whether to comply with things, whether to click on that link, whether to do this or whatever, they don't necessarily result in positive outcomes.
Yeah.
And cyber criminals, and Wall Street Journal actually wrote an interesting article about 2 years ago, where they were picking up that actually cyber criminals have understood that they understand how people think, how they make decisions, and how they behave, and then they incorporate that insight into their campaigns to attack organizations. Now, we put this down in security. We turn and go very sophisticated attacks, and it's because, well, actually, that whole behavioral piece, Facebook, LinkedIn, a lot of the high tech, the tech successes that we see around us, a lot of what the businesses are doing nowadays, even governments, okay, and campaigns are using this understanding of how the human processes information and makes decisions and then acts upon that. to develop products and services and get people to vote and get people to invest in healthcare and pensions and all that sort of stuff. So I guess the thing is, when you get people to move from, is it as simple as saying, well, we don't, I've got to do this, to I want to do this. There is a third level.
Yeah.
Which is subconsciously, we recognize that people make a lot of decisions subconsciously. So it's not just people saying, I want to do this, it's people doing it.
Instinctively, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the most exciting things for me with my research is, yes, we want to get people to buy into it and to say they want to do it. But remember, people will often leave. I've seen research around people that have attended financial workshops around pensions and planning and all those sort of things. And then they've been assessed and they say, yeah, definitely going to put money aside every month towards my retirement or my health or those sort of things. And then actually a really, really small number of people follow up on what they say they're going to do.
New episodes of Cyberwork are available every Monday at 1 p.m. Central. And don't forget to claim your free month of InfoSec skills. Sign up using the code Cyberwork and you'll get unlimited access to hundreds of courses, hands-on labs, certification practice exams, skills assessments, and more. Use code Cyberwork for InfoSec skills.